He knocked me over. I landed on the dog bowl.
This one's wife. The most disliked. Hello, I'm HG Tudor. Before we get into the meat of the dislike for this one's wife, a reminder for you to ensure that you've also subscribed to my sister channel, Narcissism and Psychopathy with HG Tudor. Please ensure that you do, so that it gains increased prominence, so it is able to deliver the information about narcissism and psychopathy that is very much needed by so many people. You'll find a link in the video description, or you can just search for Narcissism and Psychopathy with HG Tudor. Thank you in advance. Dislike. This is a problem for many narcissists, especially one such as this one's wife. Classified as a mid-range narcissist, she operates a facade. In fact, she has variations of her facade. Idyllic family life, kind and wonderful wife, wonderful and interested friend, entrepreneurial, empowered feminist, kind and empathic individual who undertakes charitable and philanthropic work. Those facades are generated by her narcissism as a means to use those facades to control people, to draw fuel from them, to access character traits and further residual benefits. They are facades because she is none of those things. What she actually is a self-serving, self-obsessed, self-preoccupied narcissist. She believes that she's eminently likable. She believes that she's interesting and fun to be around, although she is the Duchess of Industrial Beige, lacking a sense of humour, lacking any original thoughts, a plagiarist and acquirer of other people's character traits. She has very little of interest, other than serving as an excellent vehicle to help people understand about her narcissism. She wants to be liked because not only does she believe that she's likable, which is what the narcissism has planted in her brain, but being liked means that people are easier to control. They won't challenge you, they won't criticize you, they won't threaten you. They'll provide you with fuel by being friendly, by praising her, by complimenting her. They're more likely to do things for her, such as give her money for doing very little, allow her access to certain events, invite her to certain red carpet occasions. Thus, being liked is very important to this one's wife, as it links to the prime aims. Never ever lose sight of the fact that with the narcissist and their interaction with other people, it's all about the prime aims. Some narcissists revel in shithousery. Those are the highly provocative narcissists. Watch the video in that regard. And whilst this one's wife is provocative towards people, she doesn't operate as a highly provocative narcissist because she wants to be liked, she wants to be adored, she wants to be loved, she wants to be admired. And thus, her narcissism causes her to behave in a way which is designed to try and make people like her. I'm a hugger. Although, for many people, that would actually get on their nerves, the boundary recognition absence and the intrusive behaviours. She holds herself out as being interested in children, although we all know that she's not. Look at the way that she hides her own children, who allegedly exist. She conducts herself in a way to make it seem like she's got friends, that she's someone who it's great to be around, that when she's accused of being a bully, she has to ensure that these people are wheeled out to say how lovely she is, that she gives them eggs from rescue chickens and buys them bouquets of flowers and calls on them to check that they're okay when they're convalescing. It's very important for this one's wife to be liked, and therefore hugely problematic for her to be disliked. Well, a huge problem has just landed in her lap because Ranker has produced its list of the most disliked celebrities of 2024. And it won't surprise you to learn that it's not particularly good news for this one's wife. In fact, let's be blunt, it's terrible news for her. But let's do the countdown and see whose company she's keeping, and also just against who she's being measured. And then you'll realise the full horror that exists for her. The ranking goes on quite some distance, so for the purposes of saving time, we'll just deal with the top 10. Utilisation of the old Top of the Pops countdown music there. UK viewers will understand what I'm referring to. In at 10, Danny Masterson. He amassed 5,934 votes. In case you're not familiar with who Masterson is, he is a Scientologist, and he was convicted of raping 2 women in 2003, although it took 20 years for the crimes to be brought to justice as a consequence of the intervention of the Church of Scientology. So we have a rapist at number 10 and a Scientologist. In at 9, she's still hanging around even though she's not actually been that prominent for the last couple of years. It's Amber Heard. Yes, domestic abuser and unsuccessful litigant. She received 27,514 votes, presumably much of which have come from Johnny Depp supporters. At 8, Jada Pinkett Smith with 8,773 votes. She demonstrated her nastiness in relation to the marriage that she had with Will Smith, claiming they'd been separated for a number of years, referencing an affair that she had, and of course we saw all of her behaviours around the infamous slap that took place at the Oscars a couple of years ago. At number 7, arch hypocrite and archetype of be kind, but actually doesn't actually be kind herself, it's Ellen DeGeneres. 25,482 votes received by her. At number 6, it's incarcerated felon, sex pest extraordinaire Bill Cosby, who got 19,412 votes. In at 5, Kanye West with 18,380 votes. Kanye, noted for his controversial observations, alongside now possibly getting sucked into the whole P. Diddy scandal, gets into the top 5. At 4, it's Oprah Winfrey, 25,569 votes. An individual who makes very questionable decisions in relation to the company that she keeps, having been seen with the likes of Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, this one's wife, and of course P. Diddy. Might she find herself suffering as a consequence of the disclosures? And talking about the man himself, he's there at number 3, Sean Combs, a man who's currently in chokey as if each day that passes, more and more accusations are piled against him about sexual abuse, trafficking, drugging people, and basically behaving in an abusive fashion. My, what company this one's wife has been keeping. P. Diddy got 11,527 votes. So who's in our top 2? Well, at number 2, it's the Prince of Pink Pancakes. He's got 30,405 votes, the most of anybody in places numbers 2 to 10, which tells you the extent to which he is disliked and also the impact that it has upon his popularity, whereby following his ensnarement by this one's wife, his popularity is plummeted so that he finds himself placed second on this list. Yes, one wonders if it will register with the Prince of Pink Pancakes, old Fantapubes himself, that he finds himself viewed as disliked, and actually disliked more than man who's accused of drugging people and having sex with children, A man who's been convicted of molesting people throughout his career and ended up in prison. A woman who's known as having a toxic workplace. Another woman who's known as being completely off her rocker in relation to her marriage and treating her husband as a complete simp. Another whose dog trod on a bee. Another who's a rapist. Well done, Harry. Can you go and get an award for this? But top of the pops, top of the most disliked celebrities with a whopping 34,976 votes. Yes, the most of anybody in the top 10, and quite possibly the most of anybody on the list as a whole. I'm just scrolling down. Interestingly, it's not a surprise to see Chrissy Teigen there in at number 18, and James Corden, arsehole, in at number 16, Jake Paul in at 15, Kris Jenner at 13, Kim Kardashian at 11. None of them have anywhere near the number of votes of this one's wife. This one's wife voted the most disliked celebrity of 2024. She is more disliked than somebody who's accused of sexually abusing children, somebody who's in prison already for committing acts of sexual abuse, for somebody who roundly lost a defamation case and was castigated on social media. That's the position that she finds herself in. Imagine that you're more disliked than P. Diddy, given everything that's being said about him. This is catastrophic for this one's wife. Of course, what won't happen is this. Oh my goodness me. I'm the most disliked. I can't believe that would happen. Oh gosh. People dislike me more than P. Diddy. I really need to do something to change my ways. That simply isn't going to happen. Why? Because her narcissism doesn't allow her to recognize that she is the problem. It's all the voters. All 34,976 of them are bigoted, racist haters. She can't be dislikable. She's the wonderful this one's wife. Kind, empathic, compassionate. They simply don't recognize it. They've fallen prey to the smear campaign undertaken by the press, and they've listened too much to those clowns on social media who spout such errant nonsense about me, she says. The fact is, this, should she be aware of it, and she probably is given her preoccupation with reading about herself in social media, is a problem. She can't stand to be criticised, and to find herself as the most disliked celebrity flies contrary to the illusion that is formed in her mind as to the way that she sees herself. To find that she's in the company of individuals such as P. Diddy, Bill Cosby, Amber Heard, Danny Masterson, is problematic for her in the sense that it's a threat to her control, but it doesn't last for long. She won't stay up at night worrying about it because her narcissism will just cause her to dispense with it. Of course, if it's mentioned again to her, it's a threat to control and she'll have to deal with it. She's not going to contact all of those voters and say you're wrong. Her narcissism will simply tell her they are all wrong, ignore them. And that's what she will do. But this knowledge gets under her skin because she wants to be liked, because she thinks she is likable. And yet here she is, topping the list of the most disliked celebrities of 2024, in the company of toxic individuals, multiple narcissists, and of course, sex offenders and nonces. Well done, this one's wife. You really are a star. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.